Greetings everyone and good day from El Toro Memorial Park, Lake Forest, California. We're here in the live oak section. It's toward the back of the cemetery. Let's talk about the death of Officer Richard Thomas Steed, another good cop that was senselessly killed in the line of duty. He was born December 27th, 1947 in Atlanta, Georgia. As a very young man, he came to California and got recruited by the San Clemente Police Department, which doesn't exist anymore. It's now been absorbed into the Orange County Sheriff's Department. But as a 30-year-old officer, on November 29th, 1978, he was shot and killed while he responded to what the police believed to be a medical assistance call on El Camino Real. I know where that road is. It's pretty near the coast, in which a person claimed to have slashed his wrists. When Officer Steed arrived, he was shot by the person who had requested assistance. Wow. The killer was 23 years old. His name was James Richard Hoffer. He fled the scene, but was arrested about 8 hours later in a nearby parking lot. He was put into a mental hospital because he was deemed incompetent to stand trial. 10 years later, in 1988, he was committed to Atascadero State Hospital. And I don't know what's happened to him since then. I don't know if he's dead or alive, but he was locked away because he just incompetent. Poor Officer Steed. He was a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He served with the San Clemente Police Department less than 2 years, was survived by his wife. There's a park in San Clemente that's been named for Officer Steed. In the year 2011, it was set up. There's a memorial to him. He was the only officer of the San Clemente Police Department to have been killed in the line of duty. The year that Officer Steed died, 1978, a young lady named Andrea Bergstrom wrote a beautiful poem in his honor. Let's take a walk to his grave. It's right over here, and I'll read you the poem. I've never been to the park that's dedicated to him. I'll probably go there someday and look at it. This is the great and noble Richard Thomas Steed right here. Here's what she wrote. Our fallen officer. It was a dark, star-filled night as he drove into the alley. A killer waited, hidden out of sight. Seconds later, the officer lay dead on the ground. The echo of 2 shots fired was the only sound. The man who held the gun had already fled. He had carried out his plan, and now a good cop was dead. This tragedy the officers did not want to believe. Their loss was evident as each of them grieved. While the rest of the small, once quiet city slept, the fallen officers' comrades lay in their beds and wept. The police all wore their badges with black mourning bands, and at the funeral later, the casket was proudly carried, despite their shaking hands. Hundreds of police came to the funeral that day to make Rick Steed's last call with him to the grave where he will lay. Standing at attention, many of them cried because it was in the line of duty that their fellow officer had died. For the sake of the killer, let him not ever be freed, because San Clemente will never forget the senseless death of our Officer Steed. Well said, Miss Andrea. Officer Richard, rest in peace. Put a stone down here in Officer Steed's honor. Rest in peace. Well, I put Deputy Steed. Actually, he was officer at the time, but the police department has now been absorbed into the Orange County Sheriff's Department, so I think it's appropriate to call him deputy. Brave man, lost his life by some rogue and fiend that decided to play God. Rest in peace, sir.